Hi, I'm Dr. Lindsey. Let me take you through a 60-year-old fellow who got 2,800 grafts of relatively fine hair to build a new hairline. So this man is a healthy, active triathlete who came in after spending, I think he said, $4,500 on laser hats and PRP in an effort to grow hair in this recipient area. Now, many of my videos go into, I just grew up farming, and you can't take a grassy field and expect trees to grow there unless you put seedlings. No amount of Miracle-Gro or fertilizer will grow trees in a grassy field. And similarly, no amount of wishing, lasering, injections, or anything else is going to grow hair in a completely hairless patch of scalp. So after spending that money and being a skeptic on the hair transplant industry, that's probably a good idea. The hair transplant industry is worthy of skepticism. He started doing some research and he came in to see us. And so when he and I talked, we talked about an age-appropriate hairline. Remember, he's 60, I'm 58. He can't have a hairline that's down here. We talked about the limitations that his finer hair played in getting a result. Much like trees or anything else, skinnier trees don't cover as good as bushy trees do. And so it also takes more skinny hairs or more skinny trees to cover a the same amount of ground or scalp. And so he's constrained not by the quantity of hair. He's got a ton of hair in the back of his head, but they are fine hairs, and so it's critical to pack those hairs in tightly and to make a hairline that will not look unusual on a 60-year-old dude. Because one day and a 70-year-old guy, because one day he's going to be 70. As much as he exercises, he's going to get there. So we crafted this plan, and here he is with the strip removed. Notice that the strip is quite dense, and we got just about 2,800 grafts out of that. Recall that a graft is the way a hair grows in a follicle, with either 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 hairs per follicle, just like dandelions would grow in your front yard, or like these trees. Here's a one-stalked crepe myrtle tree that are common in Virginia. Here's several stalked, and hair grows like that. And so, of course, if you were planting a Christmas tree farm or doing plugs the old-fashioned way, you just stick those things in and don't worry about them looking natural. With modern hair surgery, you want it to look like a forest that you drive by, not a straight line, so there's some irregular contours, and you want it to be fine hairs at the edge and go back into a more dense forest of hair. And so here's the slits that have been made, and in the small slits we'll put 1 hair graft, and just behind that we'll put 2 hair grafts, and behind that it'll be 3 or maybe 4 hair grafts. And we go until we run out of hair. And so here he is at the end of the procedure. And he stayed close for 6 days and came in every day to get cleaned. Here he is the day that his stitches came out. Hair grows for roughly 3 to 5 weeks, and then it falls out. And remember, he had no hair there, and so here he is at 5 weeks out. And it doesn't look abnormal, but if you were to see him in conversational distance, your eye would be drawn to the few hairs that remain there. Now, when somebody already has a hairline there, and there are not many hairs, but we're adding to it, doesn't catch your eye quite as much as this. But he had no hair there, and so at 1 month, it is eye-catching, not odd, but eye-catching. And generally, at around 4 months, it starts to grow, and typically these hair transplants will grow they'll start around 4 months and they'll grow really well until about 6 months, during which time about half the hairs typically are growing. And then things stop, and then it starts again, and the final result is generally around 13 months. It's a bell curve. There are certainly guys that we've done that at 5 or 6 months look like it's fully grown. And there are certainly people that we get on occasion that at 9 or 10 months, it looks like maybe we didn't do enough. Fortunately, the bell curve usually results in people really getting a final result around 15 or 16 months. But with time, usually I'll the final result comes sort of around 15 months, but the difference in clinical results in most people from 13 to 15 or 16 months isn't enough that you can see it in a picture. You might see it in your home mirror, but it's not enough for most people. So here's this fellow's final result, and this looks fantastic. It looks completely unremarkable. His hairline is where it ought to be. It looks like maybe a 50-year-old guy's hairline, but it'll look okay at 70. With the hair combed back, it does not look pluggy, like a straight line, or anything that would call attention to itself. And then in the back of his head, his scar really is almost imperceptible. So what are the takeaway lessons from this? One is, you're correct to be skeptical of the hair transplant industry. Number two, you can't expect hair to grow where there's no hair. Maybe if the hairs are going away, medical therapy can work. Conceivably other therapies may have an option. But where there's just a desert with no plants or hairs, you gotta put seedlings in or hair grafts in to get hair to grow. Number three, it's critical that you have an unremarkable hairline, which means some irregularities. Everybody's crooked. As I look in this monitor, I can see that one of my ears sticks out more than the other. Everybody's like that. So rather than spend countless amounts of time trying to make sure everything is perfectly symmetric, the goal is to be pretty symmetric, but subtle irregularities so that your eye doesn't get caught by, what is a great hair transplant? You just want people to talk to you so that you look like you have a normal hairline that fits well with your face. And four, it's critical to do this with somebody who does a lot of hair transplants. We do lots of hair transplants. Our staff only does hair transplants. They all work for me, and we tend to have patients come daily for a week to help them clean, simply because I think that results turn out better when we help you, the patient, clean their head for the first week. You don't know how hard to scrub. You can pull out hairs, or if you don't do enough, you can leave crust and it'll pull out the hairs themselves. And lastly, you have to be patient. It takes a while to get these results, on average a year and a month or so. But fine hair transplants do work. It takes more hairs per square inch to get a great result. And so this 2800 graft, if you had thick hair like on my mustache, probably been a 2200 graft case. But you can do fine hair transplants, particularly with strip technique, where the roots are not traumatized, and get excellent results. If we can help you, give us a call. Thanks.